How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI, which was down 1.17%. So, not too bad whatsoever. We know how strong this stock is, and I know it's been a while since I've given you an update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $10.15, being down 1.17%. On the low, it tested $10.11, and then on the high, testing $10.27. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 3.451 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.102 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but we see a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 30.11. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. We are trading below all of our major moving averages, and it's clear to see that GGPI is in a bear market. So being at $10.15, again, the risk to reward ratio looks great on display. It is a SPAC, so the floor price is $10. So if you decide to get into this play right now, the only thing you're risking is 15 cents a share. So I just want to make sure I'm being clear about that. Now, as far as what we want to see for price action, so we saw a high at $10.27. So if you want to see a move to the upside, we need to break 10.27 and then see if we can make a move here going to 10.36 for the possible test going to around $10.50, and then wanting to see what we could do from there. As far as for this week, unless we have a strong turnaround and there's more buying coming into tech, there's a possibility GGPI can actually pull this off. But if it doesn't, then we can look forward to seeing a test right at the $10 level. But keep in mind, just because it's a SPAC, it doesn't mean it can't fall below $10. So I'm being clear about that. So if it does decide to fall below $10, pretty much there is no risk associated in this play whatsoever. Again, that's why I really like it and why I say I love adding to my position when it's trading under $11. But if you want to see a strong reversal out of this play, it needs to get to the 21-day EMA at $10.92. And to expect that it's going to be able to pull this off this week, I think that's a little too much to ask. But let's see if it could do that going into next week or the weeks after. But if the market conditions still continue to be rough, I'm not seeing that happening. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. So green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 11th, we see 2 closed positions, but we can see for the 10th, we have San Luis Wealth Advisors LLC that purchased 1,100 shares. We have a filing for the 9th from Pro Equities Inc., which had 0. We have some more closed positions for the 9th and as well as for the 5th. And then for the end of April, we have MSS Series Trust, One Rock Fund that purchased 6,500 shares. And then for the 28th, we have Putnam F1 or FI Investment Management Co. that purchased 13,008 shares. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off exchange short volume ratio is at 37.16%, and then for the off exchange short volume it is at 430,817 shares. And then when we scroll down, the short shares availability is at 250,000, updated 4 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate it is at 7.20%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of the 9th, it was at 32.40. And then for the close of the 10th being at 37.16. So we do see an increase right there. But when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 9.13%, GGPI really doesn't have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So we see here on the inflow, it is at 4.39 million, and then on the outflow, it is at 8.30 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 3.18 million, and then on the small, it was 1.21 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 6.29 million, and then on the small, it was 2.01 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the 10th and as well as for the 11th, we had 0. We had an outflow day on the 9th, and we had an inflow day on the 5th as well. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.48%. So this is not too bad for a stock like GGPI. We also do have a lot of volatility in the markets. And we also have to understand this stock doesn't normally trade at high volume either. So that's why I was saying, as far as for the risk to reward ratio, you know what? We'll talk about it inside of the final thoughts. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for GGPI, I must say, this stock definitely has the best risk to reward ratio in the market right now. It is a SPAC. The floor price is at $10. This stock ended up seeing a low of $10.11. So if you were thinking about taking a position at this moment, the most that you could lose is 11 cents per share. That is crazy. That is clearly defined. And why is that? I know you're asking that question. So you're saying it can't go to $8, it can't go to $9. Of course it can, but you are entitled to make sure that you can get your shares for at least $10. You just call up your broker while the stock is trading at 8 or maybe be trading at 9 and say, you know what, I want to sell these shares at $10, and you could do exactly that. Again, it's going to be different for each broker, so just make sure you get some more details on that. But aside from all of that, that's why I was saying when it comes to this play, I love to add to my position when it's trading below $11. Again, better risk to reward ratio there. We also have to take into consideration as far as for the update for the business combination. And the moment that we get that, that's where we're going to be looking for some strength. We're going to be looking for a run up. And that's why I say having a strategy is very important. If you don't have a strategy and you're in this play and you're just relying on emotions, you will get burned. I remember when the market is bullish, a lot of SPACs started to run up. So we got to make sure that we have realistic expectations when it comes to this play. So what am I looking for? I want to see if we could at least have a move going to $12 or to $13. But clearly, let's just focus on the price action as far as for the upside. If you want to see some strength in the near term, you're a big time bull on this play, then you need to see if you can get above $10.92. And why is that? That is right around where we have the 21-day EMA. Because if we can reclaim this level, that's where I can see us going to 11 and moving up and so forth. But in the meantime, the chart is looking bearish and it looks like the stock can continue to make moves to the downside. But again, I do feel that opens up an opportunity for anyone who's interested. Please don't just watch this video and say, well, you know what? I'm going to go out and buy a ton of shares. Please do your research, all right? Also, we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership. We could see that institutions have loaded up on shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest information, to let you guys know, it doesn't have short squeeze potential. The short interest percentage of the float is under 10%, and the criteria that we normally look for is 14% or higher. So we do know there are shorts inside of this play, but again, I don't see a lot of opportunities for them to be taking advantage of the downside, considering where the stock is trading at. We also want to talk about quickly the CPI numbers. So they came out at 8.3. So this was above estimates, but do keep in mind the previous one was around 8.5. So I feel, in my opinion, it looks like inflation has peaked, but we still have fear and uncertainty in the markets since the numbers did come in above expectations. So we'll will the market continue to go down? Hey, I'm actually looking for a bounce. I think we sold off a bit too much, but of course I could be wrong on that and we can continue to sell off for tomorrow. But one thing that is clear, we are continuing to crush it inside of the Discord. We bought puts on Tesla, and I must say, we killed it. We ended up taking profits very quick. I think we didn't trade for no more than 5 minutes. So again, I'll probably be putting up a screenshot somewhere on the screen so you can see it for yourself. So if you want to make sure that you're making money in this bear market, come and join us. We'll be happy to have you. And you also get the chance to tune in to our daily live streams that we do before the market opens. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how GGPI performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.